Most men think money is about hustle, strategy, tactics. But beneath all that, there's something much quieter that determines whether a man rises or remains stuck. His ability to focus without self-sabotage. Semen retention doesn't just increase energy, it removes friction. The kind that shows up as hesitation before taking a risk, the doubt before quoting a price, the guilt after dreaming bigger. When a man stops draining himself, biologically and psychologically, he begins to conserve not just his willpower, but his direction. His choices become cleaner, his actions carry intent, and without even trying to be louder, he starts commanding attention in rooms that once ignored him. Financial freedom isn't built from just skill, it's built from nerve. The nerve to say no when others would fold, the nerve to keep working when pleasure is one click away. Semen retention strengthens the circuits in the brain responsible for long-term planning and goal-oriented behavior, areas that get hijacked by overstimulation. And when you cut that noise, you begin to notice the openings, an opportunity here, a loophole there, a pattern forming in the chaos. The same man who once felt scattered begins to operate with sharp precision. That's when money stops being about luck or grind. It becomes a reflection of clarity, and that clarity only shows up when the body stops leaking power and the mind learns to delay the hit for something far more permanent. Section 1. Reward calibration. Most men never realize how badly their minds have been rewired. The constant craving for instant stimulation, the scroll, the click, the release, pulls the nervous system into a loop where real reward feels too slow. Even when they sit down to build something meaningful, their minds twitch for the next hit. And it's not just about porn or social media. It's about the inability to remain still, committed and engaged with the grind. The brain starts to associate work with emptiness and pleasure with escape. That's where ambition dies, not in laziness, but in a scrambled reward system that no longer knows what real satisfaction feels like. Retention flips that script by force. It doesn't reward you right away, it withholds. And in that withholding, something powerful happens. Your brain starts resetting its baseline. Dopamine receptors begin to function properly again. They stop begging for cheap thrills and start responding to real signals. Progress, growth, delayed payoff. You begin to notice yourself feeling energized by things that once felt like a chore. Finishing a project, waking up early, stacking small wins, the need to feel excited all the time starts to fade. And in its place rises something more dangerous: consistency. That's the birthplace of financial potential, when your nervous system starts treating patience as its own kind of reward. Money doesn't bend to men who chase it with a scattered mind. It flows toward those who can sustain boring effort without emotional collapse. That's what retention trains. It breaks your dependence on urgency and teaches you to play the long game without needing constant reassurance. You stop asking, "Is it working yet?" and start building like it already is. That shift is everything, because those who need proof before action remain consumers, but those who can delay the need for proof, they become creators. Quiet, disciplined, focused, and strangely dangerous. Not because they're trying to prove something, but because they've stopped chasing the dopamine and started controlling it. Section 2. Decision fatigue. Most financial mistakes don't happen in moments of greed. They happen when you're tired, mentally fogged. Decision fatigue creeps in slowly, like static in the background, until you're clicking buy when you should be saving, or chasing a fast dollar instead of building a solid stream. And here's what most never consider: how that fatigue is tied to hormonal chaos. Chronic ejaculation strips your body not only of nutrients but of hormonal rhythm. Your testosterone, the hormone responsible for drive, direction, and decision, fluctuates wildly, and when your internal clock is scrambled, your judgment follows. You can't think clearly when your biology is fighting itself. Semen retention changes the internal rhythm. It helps restore a clean, steady wave of free testosterone throughout the day, not spikes, not crashes. And with this comes a mental sharpness most men haven't felt since their teenage years. The part of your brain that sets boundaries, calculates risk, and plans for the future, the executive center, starts firing more reliably. You say no faster. You ask better questions. You don't second-guess every move because you aren't chasing emotional noise. Your instincts become quieter, but more accurate. You begin to feel the power of inner alignment, not because you're forcing control, but because there's nothing clouding your command. This hormonal upgrade isn't just about libido or muscle. It changes how you respond to pressure. Cortisol, the stress hormone, normally bullies testosterone when life gets hard. But when retention is paired with clean energy habits, the ratio balances out. You don't snap as quickly. You don't fold under chaos. You walk into financially tense moments, negotiations, investments, uncertainty, and your body doesn't tremble with panic. It responds with presence. That calm isn't fake. It's biochemical. And over time, those tiny moments of clear-headedness compound into wealth. Because the man who doesn't crumble when it matters often ends up holding all the leverage. Section 3. Perception gap. A man walks into the room. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. Eyes shift, breaths pause. Something about him makes people straighten their posture, recalibrate their energy, check their tone. What they're reacting to isn't his outfit or his resume, it's the invisible signal of presence. And presence is no accident, it's a physiological broadcast. High testosterone combined with low inner chaos sends cues through body language, subtle but undeniable. It shapes how your voice lands, how long your gaze holds, how firmly your words are believed. In an age of noise, this clarity is rare. And retention sharpens it like a blade. People don't pay for effort. They pay for certainty. And certainty doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your nervous system. Retention builds this from the ground up. Posture stiffens, vocal range lowers, blink rate slows. These might seem small, but they're ancient cues of biological hierarchy. The primal brain of every human around you picks up on them, even if they can't explain it. They sense confidence without ego, strength without tension, reliability without noise. That's what builds trust before credentials. In business, in negotiation, even in casual conversation, perception beats persuasion. And retention changes how you're perceived before you speak a word. This isn't charisma. It's coherence. When your biology and psychology align, your presence becomes hard to ignore. Clients lean in, bosses take you seriously, even strangers give more room. Why? Because the energy of someone in control of themselves is rare, and rare things attract value. Money doesn't chase the loudest voice. It follows the calmest pulse. The man who retains doesn't just think clearer, he feels clearer to others. And that feeling lingers in the room long after he's gone. That's not luck. That's biology, tuned and transmitted without force. That's how wealth finds you, when you become the man that energy trusts.